Hello, my beautiful ones. This is Dr. V. Welcome to a fun Friday reading. If you are new to this channel, I want to give you a big warm hug and tell you how happy I am that Spirit guided you here to live tarot. And what I do here, what my passion is to do readings that are going to uplift you towards better connecting with, better understanding, and either uniting or reuniting with that special person in your heart, whether it's your twin flame, soulmate, or immortal beloved. For today, we are going to do a energy check between you and your beloved. Well, I've already pre-shuffled all of my decks. I'm going to be using a variety of them, including the 3 that I have created especially for all of you who are on this journey to love. So let's get right into our reading. So Spirit, can you please tell us, what is your immortal beloved, your love's current energy? What is your love's current energy at this time? So your twin flame, your soulmate, the sacred union that you are seeking, what is his current energy? Well, there you have it. There he is, your divine masculine. What is your love's current energy? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so what I'm feeling here is that for some time now, your masculine seems to have gone silent. Okay, he seems to have gone into a very heavy silence that may have seemed or felt, of course, very painful to you, because I do feel that your masculine used to be someone who was very communicative. At one time, there was a really special phase of time that the two of you had gone through where you felt like the communication was just flowing. You felt so in sync with each other. You felt like you could completely open up your heart, your mind, your everything. You felt ready. You felt so good about being able to give to your masculine, and you really felt that he was open and ready to receive and to give back to you with that reciprocity that you were seeking. So there was definitely a time period where you both felt that you were definitely putting difficult things behind you. 6 of Swords energy. You were feeling like you finally got into that zone with each other. Some of those blocks, some of those difficult situations, or even lingering energy from toxic other people, anything that you felt was getting in the way, even things like, ego energy. I feel like you were feeling very good about putting that behind you, and your masculine was definitely making progress in that. I do feel that he had a lot of baggage, a lot of wounds and experiences in his past that have really made him who he is today. And I feel like the combination of that wounded soul along with that very sexy spirit, I think, is what made you fall in love with him in the first place. And so I think there's something in you, in your heart, that wants to nurture wounded souls, feminine. You beautiful, beautiful feminine who's watching this video. I'm getting that strongly from you. You are a healer. You are divinely guided to want to heal wounded souls. And sometimes you give too much because of that. You know, sometimes you find yourself giving too much and not receiving enough. Because see, the thing is that there was definitely a contrast here between who you are and who your masculine was being. With this Four of Pentacles energy, as in you were much more open to giving, whereas he was much more into hoarding. That's what this Four of Pentacles is all about. You know, the fact that we tend to hold on tightly because we're afraid of loss, right? He was so afraid of losing things. And I think that's where he comes from, right? Because he is a wounded soul who was struggling when you first met, when you first realized that he is your twin flame, your soulmate, that one special person where you felt this connection that you have never felt with anybody else before. It was part of the connection that he had that wounded energy. It was almost like you were meant to be part of his healing process. So it's like, let me say this again, it's a combination of the wounded soul along with that sexy masculine energy that really made it feel like it was like this bee to honey experience between the two of you. But you did notice, feminine, along the way that your masculine has a tendency to be very possessive, to try to hoard things because he felt deprived, deprivation in his past experiences, right? And when you do that, when you feel that you have been deprived, when you haven't gotten the emotional responses, the emotional touch points, right? The emotional resolution or contentment that you have been seeking since childhood, when you do get it, you hold on tight. And sometimes you hold on a bit too tight. And then you become so focused on receiving, as he has. He became so focused on receiving that he slowly stopped giving. And you, feminine, being a healer, being a naturally nurturing healer who wants to heal that wounded soul, just kept giving and giving and giving. And then finally you realized, wait a second, wait a second. Isn't it time for him to give back? And I think that is probably what then created some sort of a barrier, because I think your masculine, instead of truly sitting down and pondering, okay, in this thinker's energy, instead of truly sitting down and pondering and appreciating the blessing that you are in his life, feminine, you know, the great blessing that you have brought to him, I think he may have had a triggered response of expectation. It's like he misunderstood that you're giving, you're loving, you're nurturing, and then seeking to also receive in return was expectation of something from him. So he misconstrued this. He misunderstood it. He had a knee-jerk response to it. And instead of seeing it as something that he needs to give back to you, right? That if you are giving so much of yourself to him, it's like he can't just focus on himself. And that's what this energy is all about, is that he was a bit too focused on himself, too possessive and hoarding of his own energy, and too much in a taking kind of a vibration. And I don't feel that he meant to be like that. He didn't deliberately want to be like that, but I do feel, feminine, that he was conditioned by his past circumstances, conditioned by his upbringing to be a little bit on that more of a self-centered kind of energy. And so when you may have demanded, I don't want to say demanded, but may have asserted that, you know what, you are giving a lot and you're not receiving the same energy, the same care. He, instead of seeing you as a blessing in his life, he got triggered by the expectations, thinking that you expect something from him. And I think that may have made him run. And so part of his current energy, feminine, is that of the hermit. He kind of ran away and hid from you. And, you know, I do feel that this has to do, again, back with that wounded soul energy. When he is triggered, when your masculine is triggered, when he kind of goes back into that feeling of wounded soul, he almost becomes a child, a little boy again. This is the energy of somebody who is more like in that child's energy where they only seek to gratify their own desires, right? Children, it takes them time to understand that they also have to think about other people's feelings, other people's desires, other people's wants and needs, not just their own, but that's something they have to grow into. So I do feel that when your masculine was triggered, he regressed back into almost that childlike state of being very possessive, of being very triggered, of only focusing on his own needs and not being able to see that you are the greater blessing in his life, feminine. And so that is why he's coming up in that current energy right now as he's hiding. He kind of ran away like a little kid out of fear, out of panic. Right? That sexy spirit that's so attracted to you, that you were so attracted to as well, kind of became back into this wounded child energy, right? Wounded child, I'm going to hide, I'm going to be quiet, I'm going to go into silence. So that's what is going on right now in that current energy of your divine masculine. So then, Spirit, can you please tell us, how does the masculine feel about you, his feminine, at this time? What are his true thoughts and feelings? What are his true thoughts and feelings about his feminine at this time? Wow. Oh, wow. What are the masculine's true thoughts and feelings about his feminine at this time? Yeah. See, this, wow, that does make sense. What are his true thoughts and feelings? All right, so look at this. Go the distance. So your masculine definitely wants this connection. If he can get over, right? If he can get over that running energy, that, you know, wounded spirit, you know, that triggering energy deep down in his foundation, feminine, he does want to be able to commit to you. He does want this connection to go the distance. He doesn't see this as a temporary situation. He doesn't see this as, you know, a temporary connection that is casual, that, you know, that it's here today and gone tomorrow. And I think it is the depth of the connection, how deeply that he actually does feel for you, how deeply you have moved him, that made him, I think, run in the first place. Right? So it's almost like this catch-22. It's like, yes, he's run from it because he has never felt that intensity before. There's a fear, there's a insecurity, there's a real fear that he will not live up to expectation, right? It's, you know, I feel like expectation is coming through as a very strong energy. Like he's afraid that he won't be able to live up to, you know, what you want and what you deserve from a life partner that is there, that is committed to you in the long term. And so that is why we're getting this energy coming through, which is very interesting, where you have him, you know, in this Three of Wands energy. So he's definitely in a waiting state. He's definitely waiting to see what is going to happen. He's waiting for some sort of a shift to be made. But the thing is, it's like, well, who is going to make this shift? Is he going to wait until you reach out? Because there has definitely been some sort of a separation here. right? Where you may be having little to no contact for some time because of the fact that he, stepped back or had to run, where he could not be there for you in the way that you deserve to have him. So he, I feel, through this separation, is playing the waiting game. And that's actually not fair to you, because he should be the one to come forward, right? So what I'm feeling here is that there is a split energy here where you have this foundational desire. Yes, I want to be with her. I want to be with her long term. But then there's this, we haven't talked and I'm afraid. Should I wait? Should I wait for her to reach out? What should I wait for? Should I wait for a sign? So there's like this waiting kind of paused energy. And I feel like that has to do with, the fact that he definitely has issues about control. And I'm not saying that this is some sort of a bad, deep, dark issue, but it is an issue of not wanting to be vulnerable. So because of that wounded spirit, right, that kind of wounded warrior soul that your masculine has, I think the way that he protects himself, the way that he protects his heart, his soul, his mind from going back to those wounds, from, being panicky about, being touchy about things that have to do with his heart, right? The layers of protection that he keeps around his heart has to do with not being vulnerable, because I do believe that your masculine at some point in his past, especially when he was a boy, he felt that whenever he was vulnerable, he paid a price in one way or the other. So he realized I'm feeling in his adolescent mind, around that age of 12, 13, he started to equate control with not being vulnerable, control with being strong, control with not letting anybody take advantage of you. So that is the wall that he puts up. He needs to feel that he is empowered to make a decision. He is empowered to have some sort of control in a situation. And he doesn't like feeling vulnerable. He doesn't like being emotionally vulnerable, because that fear again creeps in. That fear creeps in that something's going to be taken from him. So see, this is the energy where he feels that something has always been taken from him in the past. And so if you have been struggling in your connection, this is one of the core reasons, feminine. Whether he has verbally admitted it to you or not, whether he has discussed it with you or not, see, this is something that he has dragged into his energy about you, even though you have never done this to him, right? You haven't stolen anything from him. You haven't taken anything from him. You haven't made him feel that he cannot be vulnerable, right? He does feel safe and comforted with you. But I feel like that doesn't last long, because his natural state is going back to putting up the walls. His natural state is one of surveillance. Like, he has to keep watch. It's like he's always watching. He's watching as to, is anybody out to get him? Your masculine has some sort of a suspicious nature as well. He's always afraid of being ripped off in some way. And I don't mean ripped off just in terms of money, but he also feels that he has always been robbed in terms of other things in his life. And so that is why he really hesitates to put his heart on the line, and he feels that he has to control the situation in order to feel safe, in order to feel comfortable. So this is an energy that, even though doesn't originate with you, feminine, it doesn't come from you or your actions, it comes from his past. But you see how it has dragged itself into the energy of how he also behaves with you, because that's what he knows. It's a pattern of behavior. It is a pattern of behavior that he has not been able to compromise on even until now, right? So he hasn't learned how to really develop a deep mutual understanding. See, look at this card: mutual understanding, flexibility, give and take brings rewards. So this is something that he definitely struggles with. Your masculine does have a bit of a hard time with that give and take because of his fears, that if he gives, then he will be robbed. Very interesting energy. But I do feel, though, that because he feels a deep connection with you, because he actually, beneath those fears, because he actually does want to go the distance with you, feminine, he wants this relationship to work, he wants this connection to work. I'm feeling, though, that this death card is going to be very, very positive for your connection, as in he wants to change. He knows that these attitudes that he has, this kind of energy that he is bringing to this connection, that doesn't need to be there. It's not part of your connection, and yet there it is, the residue, right? The kind of toxic smell of it is there, right? You know, I mean, I don't know why it just came through as like, it's like this toxic smell. You just want to get rid of it. You want to get rid of this negative energy. But the good thing here, though, is that he is realized that. And so this death card represents his desire to change that aspect. He doesn't want to behave in that same way with you. He doesn't want to continue this pattern of repetition with you. And so that is why I do think part of where he's at right now is in that, you know, that thinker's energy, which really does actually contribute to this paused Three of Wands. Like, he's kind of thinking and waiting to see what is going to happen next. But he does want change. He does want to change for you, as in he doesn't want to behave this way, and he really is confused. See, the Seven of Cups is also about the confusion that he feels as to what should be his next step, right? So that is another reason why we are getting a static energy here, feminine, with this Three of Wands. Like, he's in that waiting kind of energy. You know, he may not be speaking to you much, even though he's feeling a lot. So I want to, let me say this again because it's coming through very clear. I'm not speaking to you much, I know, but I am feeling a lot. That's the energy, but it's coming from this very, very emotional Seven of Cups energy, this energy of feeling extremely confused about how he can fix this. What can he do to fix his responses? What can he do to not feel so vulnerable? How can he feel like he is able to open up like he was before, like when we had him in that opening energy, right? We definitely felt that you went through that phase together where things were really good, right? Where you were truly enjoying each other's company. You were connecting like you never did before. And it was really going to that next level, and he was opening up all of that insecurity, his shadow side, you know, all of that, you know, that the obstacles were starting to melt away. But then something happened that triggered that running response. It made him go back into that hermit mode, and now because of that, he has been very, very emotional and very, very confused. Okay, so that's the thing. And that is why he has been paused in this separation, looking for what can he do? How can the situation be changed, right? How can the situation be remedied? That is how he is truly thinking and feeling about you at this time, feminine. So what would he say to you, feminine, from his deepest heart, if he could? What would your twin flame, your soulmate, your masculine? Wow. Oh, yes. 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 I love this. Yes. Oh, What would he say to you from his deepest heart? Oh my gosh, look at this. See? All light messages from the shadow and light deck. Look at this. All light messages. This tells us, see, that he feels this. He feels this deeply. He feels this connection. This is not even a question. It's not a question of the connection. See, you're always in my heart, even though I'm not in touch. Look at that. You're always in my heart, even though I'm not in touch. I'm ready to let my guard down with you. I'm sorry for being critical of you. Wow. So see, this is all about whatever happened that triggered this running response, that triggered him going into this hermit mode and really just withdrawing from the connection, right? So see, now it's like this is a part of that death card. This is that same energy coming through of him wanting change, him wanting to transform this connection and let his guard down. He's ready. He wants this, right? And he is very regretful as well if he had words with you, right? If he was critical of you, if he accused you of anything, if he hurt your heart, hurt your feelings, whatever happened between the two of you that caused you to go into this separation, that is something that he truly does feel regret about. But here's the thing. I feel, and I know that many of you have left comments like this, that look, the ball is in his court. He needs to come forward. He needs to be, if he is the one who is responsible for what has gone on here, then he needs to come out of the paused energy. He needs to stop waiting for something to happen, and he needs to initiate, right? And I know many of you are really tired of waiting. You're really tired, like, when is this person going to initiate, and why should I be the one? And I want you to know you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. If you are in this situation where it's like this dude is just waiting for his ship to come in, as in he's waiting because there's some part of him that is not brave enough. Maybe there's a bit of a cowardly energy in him right now. Maybe he's just not brave enough to come forward. Maybe it's his ego or pride. It could be many different things. But if you feel that you have waited for so long and you don't want to wait anymore, and that he really needs to step up or lose you forever, I want to tell you that I support you 100%. This is all about empowering yourself, listening to the spirit within you, right? Because these are general readings. They may not resonate with your exact situation, right? So if you are in a situation where you have been waiting and you feel that you'd like to move on and you are open to meeting somebody else, more power to you, girlfriend. Do it. Do it. Do what is absolutely right for you in your heart. Wait if you feel guided to wait. If that is what spirit tells you in your own heart, in your own, when you do your own spiritual work, when you meditate, when you go in deep, whatever it is that you do to connect and align with the voice of spirit within you, whatever you feel guided to do, that is what you should do. And if that means staying and waiting, and that's right for you, do it. If that means walking away and that's right for you, absolutely do that too. Okay, so we are going to ask advice from spirit as you move forward. But before I do that, because we don't have affirmation of the day on Fun Fridays, I wanted to ask you to answer a specific question for me in the comments below. I've been feeling guided for a very long time to do at least once a week money, abundance, business, entrepreneurship, and career readings for you guys, because I know many of you are entrepreneurs. You either have your own business or you want to start a business. And of course, with the, everything going on in the world right now, I think abundance, money, financial stability, really improving your relationship with money, getting into the energy of abundance is going to be more and more important as we move forward, because we all want that freedom in our life. We all want that security, that great feeling of abundance. And so I'm not saying saying that I'll start doing them right away, but somewhere along the line soon, I would like to do at least a reading for you like that once a week. So give me some feedback. Let me know in the comments below if that is something that you would enjoy. I really want to bring you a lot of different types of readings and experiences so that you can feel very energized and excited about these readings as that help you to move forward on your journey. So thank you so much for that, you guys. All right, so Spirit, now that we've seen what is going on in the energy between the masculine and the feminine, can you please give us some advice as they move forward? Give them some advice. Look at this. Hilarion, divine healing. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. Isn't that so wonderful? Okay, so I do feel that part of that hermit's energy, right? This is I feel in alignment with what has been going on with your masculine. So maybe this is also a good time if you are right now in that retreat mode from each other. This is a good time to continue to focus on your own healing. Go within and make those decisions. Honor what you feel, right? It's exactly as I just said. Like if you feel like it is right for you to wait and work through the separation, that's wonderful. If you feel in your healing process, right, as you retreat and recharge and heal, if you feel divine guidance telling you that it's time to walk away, then that is fine too. The only thing that matters here is your happiness, your joy, your expansion, and you living your best life. So if you would like to have a private reading with me to get specific guidance on your situation, which is very unique and special, the link to that is in the box below, as well as the link to all of these oracle decks that I have created especially for all of you who are on this journey to love. So you know how much I love you, you know how much I believe in you, and I'll see you all on the next video.